Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and today I would like to talk about an interesting shift that is happening within the WoW player base. Now, as you might have seen from either my videos, someone else's videos, browsing the forums, or just playing WoW yourself, there's once again a rising interest in the vanilla version of World of Warcraft. And for once, it is not because people are once again looking to go to extreme lengths to get the max level as fast as possible or get the highest pars they can. No, as it turns out, an overwhelming majority is playing vanilla to just play the game. And I know that sounds crazy since things were very different from when Classic WoW initially launched. Because back then, there was an unhealthy obsession with min-maxing the game to no extent. People were constantly looking for the fastest way to get the max level, and the best way to do as much DPS as they possibly could. And because of this, initially, instead of having fun leveling out in the world, people secluded themselves from the world and just ran Scarlet Monastery or Zul'Farrak over and over again in spellcleave groups. Which is quite funny because what was said before Classic WoW was released? Well, people said that vanilla is better because you're not stuck spamming dungeons over and over again, and that instead you're out in the world, exploring what the game has to offer and have yourself a meaningful journey. And what ended up happening? Well, with all the dungeon spamming, a lot of people ended up doing the exact same thing they said they didn't like about retail WoW. And of course, it didn't just stop with the leveling. At max level, people had an unhealthy obsession with world buffs, where you would stop playing your character altogether if you had them. World chat was constantly spammed by people asking when this world buff timer would reset, and you had level 1 alts in capital cities yelling over and over again when a rend buff would pop. Now, I understand the point of min-maxing, and I get that it is part of World of Warcraft. It's fun to try and challenge yourself to be the best player you can possibly be. It's fun to aim for a very high amount of DPS during a raid, or see just how fast you can level up to 60 with certain strats. But what happens when min-maxing is no longer just part of the game, but for an overwhelming majority, it is the game? Well, it ended up in people that didn't want to level altogether, and we saw mages everywhere selling boosts. We had the rise of GTKP runs, where instead of joining a guild and having fun with other people, you would just swipe your credit card to get those purples. And maybe it's just me, but it really feels like after years and years of this sort of mentality, and after we've seen all the unfortunate consequences of this mentality, people might just be abandoning this way of playing. Perhaps more and more people are realizing that there's different ways to play the game, meaning you don't need to get to max level in a record amount of time, that it's okay to get to level 60 maybe a week or two later. It's okay to kick back and just take a second to look around and be aware of how great the journey to max level is. Perhaps this time around, people just want to have fun, they just want to play the game. And it shows because in a recent poll on my channel, an overwhelming majority just wants to chill and enjoy some good old vanilla, have a good nostalgia trip, or just level a character hardcore style where you have one life, and once again, the focus is around having a blast while leveling. Maybe, just maybe, people realize that we could have played Classic differently, and that having a more relaxed attitude allows you to really enjoy the journey way more, rather than being obsessed with the destination. And maybe, in return, we'll have a more healthy community where boosting and GTKP runs might still exist, but they won't be the norm, and they won't be so overwhelmingly present. And well, perhaps this is all just wishful thinking on my end, because this sudden rise of vanilla is quite recent. After all, boosting and GTKP runs are just so tempting because they allow quick shortcuts to things you really want, which is exactly why on the Wrath of the Lich King servers, it's still so mainstream, if you will. So for now, it's nice to see more and more people moving away from min-maxing and just having fun, but we'll see how this will turn out in the end. Will history repeat itself, or will there be a big shift away from min-maxing? I guess only time will tell. And that's all for now. As always, I want to thank you for watching. I'm Hamsterwheel and have a good one.